Yeah.
And you go, well, no, you can't, because who did you call? Well,
Exactly.
I called so-and-so's trucking. Well, so-and-so trucking is somewhere between here and Toronto, and you're on your own. And people just don't understand.
So you have a moving company, Kerry?
I have a packing and shipping company, yes.
Packing and shipping company.
Yeah.
All right. So what does that mean? Do you actually you have an opportunity to move what, businesses or what?
We move business, residential, household, whatever needs to be moved.
All right. And so you have trucks that you actually use in that area?
No, what we do is we contract out people such as LaPorte and so on, and we use reputable couriers that way.
Okay.
But I would never use a company that I've never heard of before, that if you ask for a rate, they start humming and hawing, and they can't give you a proper price. And if you say, well, why don't you come and look at it? Well, okay, we'll be there in a week. Well, why are you going to be there in a week? We need to do this now. Can't you give me an idea? Why don't of when you can be here? Well, sometime in the next week or so. Well, obviously you're not dealing with a company that's interested in doing business with you, because what they're doing is they're just looking for a better job. Yeah. And if nothing comes up, then we'll come and see you in a week.
All right. Good stuff, Kerry. Thanks for your call. Now, I come to you and I get an estimate. I go to another guy and come to an estimate, and I get another estimate. Say I get 3 estimates. I'm going to come back to you and say, well, here's the estimates. Can I bargain a little with you? Can I say, can you do this a little? Can we sharpen our pen?
Sure.
Is there any problem with doing that?
Not at all. No, I think that happens a lot more. I think when our economy kind of went down and everybody was a little shorter in the wallet, I think that happens a lot.
Yeah.
And I think most of us go in, we can't do that all the time, and I think we come in with our best price we can. So we're not coming in with some thought that we'll make as much as we can, and then maybe you'll ask us for a bit off and we can give it to you. I think we go in with our best shot. But if you're moving at a certain time of the month and you're moving to a certain spot where we already have destination loads going to, maybe we can improve on that.
How do I do insurance? What if one of my values gets broken? You're moving me, and all of a sudden, it happens, right?
Yeah.
You don't want it to happen, but something happens, and I in box 23, my antique planter got broke.
If you packed it, it's never insured. If you packed it in the box and the box shows no sign of abuse, then there's no insurance on it. The box is missing, it's another issue.
Okay, well, let's do that. It's missing. For whatever reason, it didn't show up.
So when we talk to you and give you that price for moving, doesn't matter whether you've got furniture like this or the new furniture you've ordered, the price for moving is going to stay the same. So movers, at no extra cost to you, have a minimum liability of 60 cents a pound, which is very minimum. You can start calculating it out yourself. Yeah. If you need more than that, and most people do, to a full value of a minimum of something without getting into numbers, you'll declare a value and say, all right, my home's goods are worth $50,000. You're moving to Toronto. We're going to charge you $350 for full value protection, full replacement. Something happens, like Marlene earlier talking about that item that was damaged, you'll get full replacement on it.
All right.
No questions.
And they have a large moving company to be able to go to. I mean, you said earlier they can call up the president if they want.
Of the van line.
Of the van line.
If they had a problem, they can always go to the van line. I think it was Marlene back there or Liz, but one of them, I wanted to ask them, was it the van line? Because that's where you should go. And Kelly or Trevor is going to phone me tomorrow. If he was in Kelowna and had moved with a major van line, I would have said, phone the president of the van line tomorrow, and something will happen fast. Yeah. Right. They don't have that option.
Okay, let's jump to John. Hi, John.
First of all, I'd like to commend Mr. LaPorte for coming on and defending his industry. I think what Mr. LaPorte has to realize is that for a lot of consumers, it's a very stressful time, the move itself.
Okay.
And defending the young lady that claims she lost a piece, I think that's a credible claim. When I moved with a credible van line in the Lower Mainland here, they gave stick-on tags for every piece of furniture. And they had a form that they filled out when every piece of furniture went on the truck and when every piece of furniture came off the truck. I and the lady I was with at the time stood at the door when this furniture was coming into our new home. They handed us 8 sheets of multi-laminated or multi-carbon paper, numbered sheets, and they asked us to check off the items as they came into the home. And I defy anybody to check off us as these.
It's got to be you.
Get lost. At the end, the truck so many dollars an hour for the 3 men, as Mr. LaPorte stated earlier, and they want you to sign this off, so they go. You haven't got the time to walk around the house and check off each individual item. I'd like to hear him comment on that.
All right, John, thanks for your call. Do we need to take a break and come back and comment on that, or are we all right, Becky? Okay, we'll take a break. You know the question, right?
Got it.
All right, we'll come back and we'll get that question answered right after the break. All right there. How many times have you moved? 2 to 5 times, 50%. 6 to 9 times, 50%. They don't even have a category for me. Like I'm way past that. But anyway, that's our little poll here tonight. All right, so we had John on the line, and he asked you a specific question, which had to do with you don't have time to mark all these things off, paying these guys by the hour. They're out the door, and how do we know we've got everything?
He had 8 pages of inventory, so he had like a 3-bedroom home, about 100 items, maybe even 200 items. The Van Lines have devised a quick reference sheet now, John. It's called a bingo sheet, just numbers on a page, and you have to check off each item coming in. So you've got to do that. No one else is going to be concerned that all the things arrived other than the owner. So the owner takes responsibility for that. But we have improved on those 8 forms you were talking about. But you must check it off.
There you go. And I guess if he has any further questions, he can again give you a phone call.
Sure.
To know where you work there. Douglas is on the line. Hi, Douglas.
Hello.
I like the name Douglas.
I'm from the moving part of it.
You have a moving company? You're a mover?
Yeah.
All right.
I done it as a living for about a dozen years. After my 12 years experience, I heard about a large company. I won't mention the name. I could mention, maybe give you a hint, Winnipeg. They were cleaning out people's stuff, and people just couldn't get it back. And I worked as a part-time casual worker for that company, and I took care of the packing in the warehouse. Now, apparently, the trucks were coming in, hit the warehouse, and the stuff went missing, and they could never get it back, and they put a big lawsuit against the company. It was on the news and in the newspaper.
So what was the final result of this whole thing, Douglas?
I think most of the people lost their stuff, and half the fellows were fired, but it was one of those where half and half.
Yeah, so, yeah. And so like any business, I mean, Enron didn't do overly well. You know, you will have times within any particular company where, or large business, where you're going to have some good apples and some bad apples. And unfortunately, that was a bad apple. Thanks for your call. I mean, that's just the way it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you have 200 or 300 companies out there, I mean, you're going to have some guys that are not reputable.
But that was financial stability of the company, and if the goods were, people were storing their goods there, so there's something to be concerned about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a van line company. I keep going on about being van line companies, but van lines really watch their agents. They're ultimately responsible for their agents, so they're going to watch their economic welfare. So I don't know who that company was.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, there's going to be cases and stories where people do some absolutely crazy things, especially if you get it. All it takes is a few really bad employees also, and every once in a while, you know, you don't want to have that in business, but it's going to happen from time to time. Emmett is on the line. Hi, Emmett.
Hi, how you doing, guys?
Doing good.
Just a quick story for you. Mine is very much like the other callers. It's about $800 in Toronto turned into about $3,500 in Vancouver when it got here.
$800 to $3,500?
Yeah, and you know, I was given no choice basically. That was it, right? So the truck had to move away, and that left me with a problem. My wife was pregnant, and I had my 2-year-old daughter, and we just rented a place that was empty. So just to finish this off, the next day I made an appointment with the president of the moving company. Put on my best suit and got a bank draft of $1,000. I'd paid $500 already as a deposit, and I went down and I pleaded basically just to get my my daughter's stuff, right, the toys and, you know, kitchen stuff, basics.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, he could accept that. He came out and he had a look at my 4-door Volvo. And he probably figured I couldn't get much into that. What he didn't realize, I'd hired a U-Haul trailer. I pulled it into his yard, and I got 80% of my stuff into the trailer, and off I went. He was left with the rest of it. Probably won't happen ever again.
Yeah.
It made me feel good afterwards. He was trying to screw me, and I think I won, basically. In the end, what he was left with, I doubt he even sold it at auction. So.